Hi boys and girls, it's Miss Knight. I'm super excited that you have chosen to listen to this video I'm making for you. I'm using my iPad that I had in the classroom. Many of you got to play on it, so this is just another awesome feature that my iPad is able to help us with. So I hope you're doing well. We are going to start this week another adventure in learning with Go Math 16.2 Analyzing Dot Plots. We are going to be doing page 577 together. We're going to analyze this dot plot. And when you're analyze means to gather information from, look at it, see everything that you can get from it, read all of your titles, look and see what kind of number line you're looking at, decimal form, fraction form. Okay, so it's analyzing dot plots is what 16.2 is all about. So it says we can start right here. You can identify the greatest and least numbers in a set of data on a dot plot. This is all of your data that is in a dot plot. Example 1, members of a hiking club made a dot plot of the distances they hiked. What is the greatest distance they hiked? What is the least distance? So hiking trips distance kilometers is our title. All right, so let's analyze this dot plot, by answering these questions. The greatest number on the number line that has a dot above it is what? What is that greatest number there? 9.5. The greatest. So the greatest distance they hiked is 9.5. 9.5 what? Kilometers. Remember, numbers always have number representation. They represent something. So next, the least number on the number line that has a dot above it, the least number, we're comparing decimals here, the least one is 7 wholes. 7.0, remember, is 7 wholes. So the least distance they hiked is 7 wholes, 7.0. The difference between the greatest and least number in the group is the range. The difference between, what does that make us think of? We are comparing how they are different. So difference, when you're comparing how they're different, what operation goes with comparing the difference? Subtraction. And it's okay to put your labels above. So what is this question asking us? It's asking us, what is the range of distances the hiking clubs hiked? Subtract the least distance from the greatest distance. So our least distance is going to be 7.0. And then our greatest difference is going to be a 9.5. So can we subtract 7.0 from 9.5? No. Why not? That's right. You got to put the bigger number first. So let's make a correction. Remember, it's always very important to check your work as you go along. So we want to put our greatest value first, and that is going to be 9.5 minus your 7.0. And 9.5 minus 7.0 is 2.5. And you can always check it 9.5. Oh no, what are we doing here? We are subtracting decimals. When we are subtracting decimals, how do we line up our digits? We have to make sure that we line up our digits in with our decimals straight in line. So 5 minus 0 is 5, and 9 minus 7 is 2, and then our decimal comes straight down for 2.5. So the difference between the greatest and least distances is 2.5 kilometers. So the range is 2.5 kilometers. All right, let's flip the page and do some more examples together. All right, you should be on page 578 in section 16.2 and go math. We're going to do the example 2 together, solve a multi-step problem. We are going to be analyzing data with a dot plot. A breakfast chef uses 3 different amounts of milk when making pancakes, depending on the number of pancakes ordered. The dot plot shows customers' orders for pancakes one morning. How much milk does the chef need to make all the pancakes? Well, our step 1, they have all of our steps really nicely laid out for us. So let's go step by step and follow their instructions. Step 1, find the number of orders for pancakes that use each amount of milk. So we have a blank here, blank dots above 1/4. Well, let's go over here. We have 1/4 here. How many dots do we have above 1/4? We have 2. So we're going to fill in our blanks. 2. All right, next is how many dots above 1/2? Well, if we go over here to 1/2, we're going to count it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Now we're going to go to how many dots above 3/4? 1, 2. It's pretty easy stuff. You can handle it. All right, now we're going to go over here. How many orders that use 1/4 of a cup of milk? Well, if we look at our title here, it says milk in pancake orders. So how many orders that used 1/4 of a cup? Well, let's go to 1/4 of a cup, and we know that these dots represent the milk in pancake orders. So our answer here is going to be 2. 2 orders that used 1/4 of a cup. How many orders used 1/2 of a cup? There were 1, 2, 3, 4 orders that used 1/2 a cup. How many orders that used 3/4 of a cup of milk? 3/4 of a cup of milk. 2 orders used 3/4 of a cup of milk. Step 2. Find the amount of milk needed for the orders that use each amount of milk. So 1/4 times, well, how many orders did they make using 1/4? They used 2. So you had 2 groups of 1/4. So we're going to multiply it by 2. And when we multiply by a whole number, we need to remember that we put our 2 over a 1 and then multiply across. So 1 times 2 is 2, and 4 times 1 is 4. And we know that we can, what do we know about 2/4? Can you simplify? Does it have a common factor? Are these multiples of a factor? Well, what do we got to do to simplify? Remember, we need to divide by their greatest common factor. which is a 2. So 2 over 4 divided by 2 over 2 equals 1/2. So 2/4 is equal to 1/2. So we got to go down here to 1/2 times 4 times, well, how many pancake orders used a half? Well, 4 of them did. So we're going to multiply times 4. And remember, it is a whole number, so we want to put it over a 1 to make it a fraction, because when you're multiplying, you want to make sure that your units are the same. We're working with fractions and fractions. We're going to multiply across. 4 times 1 is 4, and then 2 times 1 is 2. This is called an improper fraction, and to make an improper fraction, proper fraction, you want to divide by 4 divided by 2, which gives you 2. So we're going to do the same thing for 3/4. 3/4 was used in 2 orders. So they made 2 orders with 3/4. So we're going to multiply it by 2. Remember, we're going to put it over 1 to make it a fraction. 2 times 3 is 6. And 4 times 1 is 4. This is improper, so we want to again divide 6 divided by 4. 4 goes into 6 one time. Subtract your 4, get a 2. And remember, in 5th grade, we don't have remainders, so we're going to go ahead and put a decimal here, put a decimal here, put a 0 here, bring down your 0. 4 times what is 20? That's a 5. Subtract your 20, and you're left with no remainder. So our improper fraction now has a value of 1 and 5/10, which is also equal to 1 and 1/2. All right, so we're now at step 3. Add to find the total milk that was used all day. All right, so we're going to take our totals for the 1/4, the 1/2, and the 3/4. Okay, let's circle them so we know what we're adding. We're going to add a 1/2. We're going to add a 2 cups, 1 and 1/2. And when we add all of that up, we're going to get 4 wholes. 2 plus 1 is 3, 3, and then a half plus a half is another whole, so that's 4. So the chef needs 4 cups of milk to make all the pancakes.